来，时间点2015年7月16号，下午的5点09分，是17点09分。OK， 现在我们看看从欧洲艺术史开始讲，这一连串呢就是 YouTube 的连接，刚才查了一下，还没进去看啊。小时候跟你一起遨游欧洲艺术史。这就是那个鼠疫，现鼠疫，由那个跳蚤传播的现鼠疫，那是疫病，看看。须子。是由古典罗马希腊所启发的，带动个新的世界。我看一看 ，New stages of art were introduced。艺术的新形式被引进。说的湿壁画 （fresco） 湿壁画。雕像，这是所谓的圣商图。建筑，合并科学界的新发现。以太阳为中心的太阳系理论学说。解剖学。达文西。伽利略、哥白尼、马基维利，马基维利还是马基维利 ？OK。卡尔文教派的卡尔文，伊丽莎白女王。亨利八世就是英国国教的发起人。乔叟，就坎特伯利故事集，那是英国的文学家。这是个重生的世纪。所谓的文艺复兴。
Now, if it wasn't for the Medici, these students might not be doing what they're doing today, because the story goes that Lorenzo.
这是梅迪西家族，麦迪奇家族就是意大利的北方呢，是不管是经或政治，就是非常有势力的一个家族。
Magnifico was so concerned that standards were dropping in Renaissance Florentine art that he had the idea of founding an academy. He gathered together a number of choice works of art from the Medici's own collections. He hired a tutor and
这个家族成员非常喜好收集艺术珍藏。
bang, the modern art school was born. this academy in his own garden, where students would copy from his collection of classical sculptures. And Lorenzo's devotion to pagan rather than religious art moulded the minds of his students. One of them was the young Michelangelo. Lorenzo nurtured
米开朗基罗出现了。
his genius when he was just 15 years of age.
彼时其只有15岁的年轻。
Now, if you want visual evidence of the huge impact that Lorenzo the Magnificent had on the young Michelangelo, it's to be found in this room, because here we've got the only two sculptures that he's known to have created while studying in Lorenzo's sculpture garden. Here we've got this beautiful low-relief sculpture, a classical technique. It's the Madonna
这是所谓的浅浮雕。
of the stairs, and he was taught this technique by the sculpture instructor that Lorenzo had installed in the garden. Beautiful piece, but it's still within the religious language. If you want to see how Michelangelo's imagination was really opened up by the influence of Lorenzo, it's here in this great sculpture called the Battle of the Centaurs, which is one of the most precious things in the Michelangelo house, although they've actually allowed me to open the Perspex case so we can see.
这个是不是他刚刚所讲的 centaur 那个是半人马的战争嘛，跟人的战争是不是
The sculpture in its full glory. Isn't that fantastic? Bodies, not a religious reference, not a trace of saintly iconography. This is a purely classical work of art, and its subject is struggle, and in a sense I think that's very appropriate, because what we're seeing here is Michelangelo wrestling the forms of sculpture into a new shape. This is really the birth of Western European secular art.
这是所谓的欧洲的俗世世界的艺术的一种传承的肇始，从这边开始，就是世俗艺术，而不是神本艺术，是所谓的人世间的。
Lorenzo was to make his most ambitious attempt to embrace the joys of antiquity, not in cramped Florence, but in the Tuscan countryside. It wasn't enough for Lorenzo to promote classical styles of art. He was fascinated by the whole ancient Roman and Greek way of life, and as a result, he was to commission a truly revolutionary piece of architecture.
他一直提到的 Lorenzo 是不是 Michelangelo 的老师啊？米开朗基罗的先驱的，是他一直讲到这位人物是 Lorenzo 是不是？是不太了解，是继续看下去。
A building where Lorenzo's most aristocratic ambitions were realized. Raised up on a classical arcade with this grand entrance plainly modelled on the portico of an ancient temple, this is a building that looks straight back to the splendour of ancient architecture. It was hugely original and bold, and it's been immensely influential. Think of the Renaissance villa. Think of the English country house with its pillars and pediments. Lorenzo had revived single-handedly the idea of the classical retreat from the cares of the city.
那我们看看下一段好吗？
In 1532, Alessandro became the first ever Duke of Florence. The Republic was dead. And the Medici used Florence's main square to declare their new status as nobility.
中断它好了 ，OK。